Welcome back to Alley Chats. Today I have a good friend. I have Phil Perich from Capes and Lunatics. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Good. Great to be here.
Great. I am so happy to have you. Phil, I know you've actually hosted this show before, but I want people to know what you do. So why don't you tell us about yourself? Give us your background. What do you do?
I've been podcasting for a few years now, and for the last, it's going to be coming up on 3 years now, I've been hosting the Capes and Lunatics podcast for Southgate Media Group.
Yeah, cool. Before that, you did a whole bunch of shows for us too.
Yes. Like I said, when did I start? Like 2014, maybe. Yeah. Just the random shows, before the bat, about the Gotham podcast. You're welcome. Flash, Arrow, Power Hour, which became Legends of DC. Yeah, just anything.
Just all sorts of stuff. And you did stuff on Nuff Said. You were on This Week in Geek. Yeah. But now your main focus is Capes and Lunatics. Tell people about Capes and Lunatics.
Well, actually, it's two podcasts, Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks. I mean, we kind of focus on Capes and Lunatics, we focus on the newer stuff, current news, TV shows, movies, comic books, anything basically that we're interested in. And then Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks, we cover more of like older stuff. We cover like old comics and almost basically just the comics over there. But I mean, yeah, between the two, anything pop culture is pretty much up for grabs.
Yeah, it seems like your focus is more on kind of superhero, but at the same time, you've ventured off into Picard and some of the other, kind of pop culture geek touchstones.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, just when we were putting Capes and Lunatics together, we, I just wanted like a more broad general place where we could like cover anything. So it's like a lot of us were into Star Trek and like, yeah, some of us even watch Picard, like you said. So it's like, hey, we can talk some Picard here. We can do, pretty much what we want.
Why don't you break down the shows? Because here's how it works. I know you have two feeds and you have multiple shows on those feeds. Capes and Lunatics is the name of the two feeds essentially, but Capes and Lunatics Prime is where that's kind of the heap where you talk about everything. But then you have individual shows on there. What are some of those individual shows?
Well, basically, like you said, Capes and Lunatics is the main show we talk about, and pretty much anything current these days. On that feed, we have Super Connectivity, of course, with our friend Charlie Esser. We basically see pop culture through his eyes. Then we have Nightwing News, where Kristen and I talk about, we were talking current Nightwing comics, but since this is the 80th anniversary of Dick Grayson, we've been doing deep dives into older stuff. And then Charlie and Moz every Friday pick a TV show, like it's something off the streaming service usually, and they cover those episode by episode. And then the other one, the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks, we've been covering Batman Nightfall for Before the Bat. Then we have Ultimate Spider Cast, where Lilith and I basically jump through Spider history. We have Wade's World, where we talk anything Deadpool. Comic Capers is basically just anything we want. The Quantum Zone with the Marvel character Quasar. And then Lilith and I have been talking about bringing back Legends of the Arrowverse, where we're going to be talking some of the shows and even like old Flash comics now.
Very cool. So it seems to be kind of DC heavy, but at the same time, you do venture into the Marvel stuff. I know, because I know you like it. I know that Charlie is hosting Nuff Said at this point, which is, I'm not going to say is an offshoot of Capes and Lunatics. Nuff Said is kind of your competitor, yet at the same time, I kind of view it all together. So Nuff Said is the one that I had started with Jack way back, which covered Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the Marvel stuff. Now Charlie has taken that over. He covers Marvel there, and you guys kind of bleed into that too, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we share, I think we share this stuff. We share super connectivity between the two podcasts. And I mean, Charlie Esser's just everywhere these days.
So do you guys have like a Patreon or any way to support your show?
We don't have a Patreon yet. We've been talking about that. I would say right now, probably the easiest way to support us is going to TeePublic and like buying a shirt or a mug, some of the merchandise, or just sending contributions directly to Southgate Media Group also.
Oh, I always like that. What about crowdfunding? Have you considered doing anything with a crowdfunding for any projects?
Like I said, Lilith and I have been at like planning stages, but I don't know if we're always like waiting for the right moment, which I don't know if there's ever going to be a right moment, but
Oh, there will be, I'm sure.
Yes.
And once you hit that, we'll definitely share it here on Alley Chats. So where can people check out Capes and Lunatics?
Well, the podcasts, they're on all the major platforms, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all the podcasts. But we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, at Capes Lunatics, Instagram we're on.
Well, and each of your shows seem to have social media. So to make it easier, I'm going to put them all in the show notes. That'll help.
Okay. Yes. And we also have the link tree, the lanktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. All the links are there.
Oh, good. Okay. Very good. And what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
The easiest way is either email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or we have a voicemail, 614-382-2737.
Okay, Phil, here come the big questions. This is your dream con. Who are you most excited to meet?
Ooh, dream. I so many, I love the comic book writers, maybe like a Brian Michael Bendis but some of the maybe like Grant Gustin from The Flash. I mean, it's just so hard to choose. It's like, do I want a comic book writer? It's someone from a TV show.
I'm going to box you in, Phil. Why don't you give me one from a couple of different categories? So TV.
Probably Grant Gustin from The Flash.
Okay. Comic books.
I'll go with Bendis.
All right. Movies.
Oh, Robert Downey Jr.
All right. Video games.
Oh, I'm not a big gamer these days.
You can just name a character if you want.
Spider-Man. I stole your answer right now.
All right. That was a good one. And then with all the cons that are canceling and or postponed at this point, what do you think is the best way that people can support other creators? They can like you or comic book writers, artists. What's your take on that?
I would say, I'm sure, monetary support is the most important part. But if you can support people monetarily, just, help them spread the word, share their posts, about their products on social media, retweets and, sharing is probably like the next biggest thing after the monetary aspect.
Cool. And then for you, what do you think is the best way? There's sharing. Anything else?
I would say right now, probably just downloading the podcast.
I was trying to bait you there. Review Capes and Lunatics.
Review, yes.
Those reviews help, and they help this show too. So if you want to support these shows, giving reviews makes a big difference because it exposes us to a lot more.
Yes.
So I was really trying to get you to say that one. I didn't know if you were going to say it or not. So Phil, do you have any new products or projects that you're involved with or maybe you're coming up?
Nothing new. It's usually just for Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics sidekicks. Usually anything new we add there. So, we're always trying to think of new stuff for that. So yeah, just keep an eye on the podcast and the social media, and any announcement we pretty much make on our social media.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's all I really needed, Phil. Thank you so much for being on. I know that we haven't had a lot of podcasters on here. I'm trying to make it about, 80-20, 80% comic book people, 20% other people that would be in the Artist Alley. And I think that you absolutely would be one I would see sitting there in Artist Alley. So thank you so much for being on. And I encourage everybody to listen to Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks. And if you go through those whole catalogs, you can start digging through those old shows because we've kept them all alive at SouthgateMediaGroup.com. Thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you.
You can find Alley Chats on Facebook by searching for @AlleyChats. You can also visit us at our webpage, smgpods.com/AlleyChats, for links to all our episodes and other cool stuff. One easy way to support our show is to rate and review Alley Chats wherever you listen to your podcasts. Those ratings really help us out and help others find our show as well. Alley Chats is produced and edited by Rob Southgate for Southgate Media Group. Be sure to subscribe to Alley Chats because you definitely don't want to miss an episode. Thanks again to our affiliate sponsors, Hunt-A-Killer and Tweaked Audio. Links to them are on our webpage and in the show notes. This wouldn't be possible without them. Our theme song is by Benny and the No Goods. Check out their awesome music at bennyandthenogoods.bandcamp.com. If you're an artist or writer or creative type
that would have a table at an artist alley and would like to be on Alley Chats, message us through the Facebook page or email us directly at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com and we'll set up an interview. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with another fantastic show.